time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time. 80% of the divorces are filed by them, not us. 90% of the custody hearings go in their favor. 97% of the reason why do we need therapy? We choose the same women 85, 87% of the time.
All right. Welcome to another episode. I am Mike Perkins, one half of MVP, one half of Opinions I Like Podcast, one half of Mike and Vince Perkins. And for this here, I am the whole show. Um, yeah. So you see the title, you saw the thumbnail. Just gonna go into a little bit of why it is that men, black men in particular, go to therapy. But before I do that, um, I want to talk about this hangout, this Detroit Black Manosphere meetup that we're having in Detroit. Of course, the great Bernard Riley is going to be there. It's a meetup put together by Christian Hutchison. He's a contributor to the space. He typically, you might find him in the comments. He's on several panels. Ed's panel, most notably, he was just on Bernard's panel, where they were talking about the. Let's see here. We were talking about the prom picture with black guys, white girls, and a lot of uh, just how that dynamic kind of works. And yeah, so just check it out. This will be pinned in the comments, and it's going to be in the description as well. So if you could check that out. If you are local, it's in Detroit. It's not something where you need to be taking flights or anything to it. If you are in the area, please just check it out. That will be great. Subscribers and all of the content creators that are in the local area. Thank you very, very, very much. So this is what I'm gonna do. Um, see here. Let me go. See here. All right. All right. All right. So, why do men, black men in particular, go to therapy? I have an origin story, a backstory. It's a very, very it's not a tragic story, but it's a story nonetheless. So let me get into it. So um I was going to drop my kids off at school, and when I was going to drop them off, I think that the power was out um, at their school. So I turned around. I turned around to take them to so that we can go back home. And in taking them back home, I took the infamous or famous 8 mile, that 8 mile road in Detroit, and I was going down 8 mile, and I was going to make a Michigan U-turn, which is I mean, I would imagine it's a Michigan thing because it's called a Michigan U. Um, but when I was making that Michigan U-turn, a car uh, sort of just came out and and hit my car. He was going 90 miles an hour. Obviously, 8 mile is not the freeway, so going 90 miles an hour is really um, not a that's not a good thing. So he was going to he's going very fast, way too fast. And when I was going down 8 mile, he hit me. He hit me on the side that my kids were on. Fortunately, he hit the front of the car, and he didn't hit um the passenger side, like as in the doors. Because if he would have hit the car at that speed, he would have likely um he would have certainly hurt my sons, but fortunately he didn't. And but unfortunately, he passed in the crash. And when he did um pass in the crash, I didn't know immediately. First thing you want to do is you want to take your kids and get them to the side of the road and make sure that they're safe. So that's what I did. We were in the middle of the street. Everybody sort of stopped, and you know, all the traffic stopped behind me. Everybody got out their cars because they saw what happened. Guy hit the side of the building, and he clipped the building and busted a water main, and water was just flooding the water was just flooding into his car. And when water was flooding into his car, um again, I didn't know what was going on. I was really just trying to make sure my kids were safe. First person I called was my brother, the brother that you see me, the VP of MVP, Vince Perkins. um First thing I did was call him. And when I called him, he came immediately. He was just down the street. And when he was running around the corner and he finally got to me, they were pulling the guy out of the car and kind of didn't know that he was dead. You know what I'm saying? But when they pulled him out kind of lifeless, um, I was, I lost all of my the life in my body and the life in my legs, and sort of just kind of fell, um, almost like fainted. And like from there, everything was just very, very fast and slow at the same time. Um, I just thought about it as an accident. I really didn't put it all together. My kids survived, everybody was good, nobody lost any limbs, but the guy lost his life, and it was really, um, I don't know. It put me in a very, very, like, I'm a dad, I'm a protector, I'm a provider, and the thing that I can't control is somebody hitting my car. You know what I mean? I just can't control that. That's not really a thing that I can control. And I felt inadequate as a dad. I really did. I felt inadequate as a dad. I felt like, man, like I should have been looking. I mean, the guy was going 90 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? At least. But like, I should have been looking somehow. And you know, from there, you know, um, I still had a job, so I went to work, you know, um, I voted that day. I think that was the day of, not election day, but the day to vote. I think it was like November the 3rd or something like that. It had to be somewhere around there. And I went to go vote. And I voted. I did everything like I normally do, and I never stopped. to think that maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe I need to talk to somebody. You know, for the next couple months, I kind of walked around like a zombie and really didn't come together like in my head, you know, in any way, shape, or form. I didn't come together with like maybe I should talk to somebody, but my family kind of pressed it. And so I did, you know. Most of therapy was about me talking about um, you know, my kids, trying to figure out like how can I get over this feeling of like, man, I didn't protect them the way that I should have in this situation. How do I get past that? How do I, you know, um forgive myself? Because really that's what it was. I couldn't really forgive myself for that situation. And as much as it was, you know, again, it's a freak accident. You can't really control somebody hitting your car, but you know, you replay it and replay it back in your head. I could have stopped. I didn't really have to go at that time. Any number of things, and I was very, very, you know, I was very, very just down about it. Eventually, I did go to therapy. I talked it out, and you know, there were some things that were going on in addition to that. You know what I'm saying? That I really won't get into because it's not necessary at this point. But there were a lot of there were a lot of things in addition that didn't kind of help the situation. And, you know, people kind of took advantage, you know, of my zombie kind of out of its state. And people that were close to me. And that didn't help. And so, in going into therapy again, I just had to talk and talk and talk these things out because, again, I wanted to be better for my sons, better for, you know, my mom, better for, you know, all the relationships that I had and kind of give them the best version of me. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have another dad. It's just me. And so I needed to really, really put that into perspective so that I could really, you know, be the best version of myself and be a dad again. Because I think for maybe like 3, 4 months, you know, I don't even remember. I just can't even remember how I even was getting by with any of the stuff that I was doing because I really was, um, I don't know. I felt like a zombie. I felt like I was walking dead, you know, for a very, very long time, for about a good 6 months. And so eventually I got to a point where I was okay, you know, where I could kind of forgive myself and move on from it because really, you know, that's not a good space to be in. And, you know, I went in there to become, again, a better version, you know, of myself. And, you know, I feel like I accomplished that. I came out better. You know, my sons are better for it. We go to the court, we play basketball, we run, we joke, we kid. I still cut their hair. I still do all of the normal things that I did with them. And as much as possible, you know, I try to not be normal in the sense of like not exceptional, but normal in the sense of dependable to my kids so that I can continue on um with being a father and you know cultivating a healthy, safe, productive space for my sons. And yeah, you know, but ultimately went into therapy to make myself a better person for the people that I love. I had a quote on Bernard's show where I said, men go to therapy to make themselves better for the people they love, and women go to therapy to make the people they love better for them. You kind of don't hear it when guys go to therapy because there's really nothing to say. I mean, we're going in there to kind of fix ourselves and be better and, you know, not come out and then diagnose everybody because we came out of therapy and we know so much. Most of us don't walk around calling people narcissists and and ADHD and whatever number of things that uh, women tend to call us. You know what I'm saying when they go to therapy and they're now refined, or they're this newer higher self or whatever. And now not to go back to the uh to the TikTok therapist, but I think a lot of times when we're talking about therapy, a lot of times we're encouraged to go to therapy in context of a woman, which is a thing I resent mostly about the TikTok therapist. Like I resent that because a lot of the things that we go through really don't have anything to do with a woman. It really have a lot to do with um just life. You know what I mean? Like it's really important that men, black men specifically, have a pipeline to kind of like communicate with each other, one, you know what I mean, but certainly communicate with somebody personally, and that like this space is not like therapy for me necessarily. It's not like therapy for me, but it's certainly um enlightening, listening to, the likes of, Bernard Riley, listening to Christian has always had great insight, you know what I mean, on a lot of things. Listening to the likes of BGS, Edward Anderson, they always had like good perspective, and it kind of helps you to articulate the things that maybe you felt that you really didn't know how to say. um, and so it's a lot of times where we need both. We need both agency and we need therapy at the same time. Oh, I didn't see these. Okay. Um, Christian, I went to therapy because I was getting married and I didn't want to make the same mistakes my parents did. Probably the best decision of my life because lots of stuff happened in the first year. Of course, you know, I tried to do premarital counseling and that was just a disaster. We had a woman and I mean, with all due respect to my ex-wife, I mean, I know she listens to like everything I do, but she wasn't very honest in there. So when going into therapy, it was one of those things where, I mean, it was just a waste of time. I had to kind of give her the pep talk, like, please don't go in here and say something ridiculous. But, in true, form, she went in there and she told the lies. I liken it like when women go into therapy and they lie. I liken it to like if you have like a professional maid or something like that come and clean your house. I liken it to people cleaning up their house a little bit more as to not seem as dirty or filthy as they really are. So cleaning up and then having the maid clean up. It's like going to therapy, lying so the therapist doesn't think that you're as crazy as you actually are. And you know, even with that, with going to therapy during that time, trying to, be married, be a married couple, it seemed like a lesson in futility because it was like she felt inherently like she was going for me because somehow I needed to be better for her. Not that I needed to be, better for the marriage or the functionality of the marriage or the utility of the marriage, but it was really one of those things where I really feel like she was thinking, well, you're going to be better for me because I need you to be better for me because, you know, not that I own you, but you get it. Like you're my possession. And and I resent that. Anytime I hear women say you need therapy, it's like, nah, we don't need therapy the way that you're saying we need therapy. We need therapy because we need somebody to talk to, but we don't need therapy so that we can be these drones for you, these emotional wrecks, these emotional, like, having emotional diarrhea where we're just talking and speaking our emotions and everything. Like, we don't need that at all. You know what I mean? Just to see here, car accidents are already traumatic, but when someone passes away from it, I couldn't imagine how that felt. Yeah, it was a bad feeling, and the reason, like again, for me, just to reiterate, my kids were in the car, you know, so as much as I tried to like give myself grace in the situation, it was almost impossible to give myself grace. There's still times when I'm like, man, this is not the best. I'm really not okay with the fact that that happened, and as much as you know, a I'm a pretty logical person, you know. I feel like most dudes, or I think most dudes are mostly logical, but as logical a person I am, I really couldn't shake that feeling. The guy was going 90 miles an hour, killed himself, you know what I'm saying, essentially. Um, but I really couldn't shake, feeling mostly responsible for that situation. Um, but yeah, so and getting back to the topic at hand, um, the reason that we should go to therapy, the reasons that we go to therapy, you know, are mainly because our voices are suppressed. Um, there's a lot of times where there's not enough platforms and things of that nature for us to really talk and speak on what it is that you know, um, that we're going through. There was a time where, in my marriage, I was working maybe 80 hours a week, between two jobs. And as much as I was working between, those two jobs and I was still at all my kids' practices, still outside with my kids, still doing all the things that dads do, and didn't really feel like I was being appreciated on the level of a guy that's working that hard. And I wasn't really eating. I was probably like 150 pounds at the time, maybe, maybe even less. And I just wasn't getting the respect that comes with doing said thing, and I thought that in my head, I thought like maybe if I work harder somehow, then I would get the respect. Maybe if I did more, maybe if I, somehow um, you know, uh, made more money, got a promotion or whatever, then maybe I could be the guy that I need to be in order to get the respect that I feel like I deserve in this situation. And I wasn't necessarily getting that. And I probably could have benefited from therapy in that sense. You get divorced. Divorce is not the best thing in the world. I probably could have used some therapy. There was a lot of things that, I'm quiet about it, even to this day, but there were a lot of things that were going on, in the wake of my marriage that I never told I never said anything about. I just let her control the narrative. I mean, I've never heard a woman in the history of women ever say, you know what, the marriage failed and it was my fault. I did stuff, but because, I don't feel like I ever have to, put her down or put her in a space whereas she has to be and not necessarily embarrassed because it's really not a matter of her being embarrassed. It's more so a matter of her just having to um having to tell the truth because really the truth is um not you know what was told about our situation. And so I probably could have used some therapy after that, what I'm saying, the car accident and the way that, what I'm saying, I was treated during, going through, feeling guilty about the car accident. I could have really used some therapy earlier than when I went. Unfortunately, I did go, and it allowed me to kind of like be in this space, whereas, you know, I can almost forgive myself, and I feel better about myself than I probably felt in a while. So, just thinking about the therapy thing though, again, I find it funny that we had a conversation about, men needing therapy and men needing therapy, and right under our noses, like, our women are leading in like evictions. You know what I'm saying? And leading in evictions in like the worst way. Like they're they're making it like it's a what's that? It's like the evictions are happening to them, as in like somebody's thrusting evictions on them, and a lot of that, a lot of that stuff is really frustrating because it's like right under our noses, our women are going through the most evictions. Our women are having, you know, the loan forgiveness is really. I mean, it's mostly for Black women. I wouldn't say it's only for Black women, but it's mostly for Black women. Black women lead in student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? Like right up under our noses. You know, Black women led in, all abortions, 19 million since Roe v. Wade, and right up under our noses, those kind of things are happening, and we're the ones that need therapy because we're somehow out of our mind. Right up under our noses, you have woman after woman after woman after woman after woman crying on the internet because they either don't have a man and they're in their 30s, or they're in their 40s and they can't have babies anymore, or they're not with the guy that they want to be with, or, what I'm saying, they're scared that they're going to die alone, or, they're just losing it completely. And like you don't get a lot of guys going on the internet and cry and literally crying tears. You know, you may get a guy that complains or whatever, but you don't get a guy literally crying tears, you know, in certain situations like this. And you do get a lot of women that do cry tears. Um, like right up under our noses. We had, you know, Lolo Jones with a breakdown that, you know, really truly um I mean, I don't, you know, I don't think that she's completely out of her mind, but I mean, I think that she is probably not having a good go of it, you know, at this point. And like all of this stuff that's happening right up under our noses, we haven't even considered that maybe our women needed a little bit more than us. You know, we've only told ourselves that, you know what I'm saying, black men need it more because somehow we're the crazy ones, you know. We're the ones that needed to get it together. And right up under our noses again, all this stuff is happening. And I wish that sometimes that like we could have the conversation, you know what I mean? Which I don't look, I don't really even think that we should be having a conversation with our women at this point. You know, like most of the conversation should be bros networking, which, you know, again, the hangout, you know, featuring Bernard, you know, of course Christian's gonna be there. And you know what I'm saying, myself, I'm gonna be there. You know, I've seen the RSVPs kind of come in and yeah, and you know, there's gonna be a few people there, so just make sure you come out. Let's see here. So I guess the strong independent is wearing off. Yeah, it's wearing off. Like I like my testimony about that is, you know, I'm getting I'm getting the calls that like I shouldn't be getting these calls. Some of the calls that I'm getting lately, you know, or the text messages that I'm getting lately really, really tell me that women made some very, very bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? Women made some very, very bad decisions. Um, and now it's time for them to give somebody else the bill, you know, and that could be like, again, I've made some decisions in my life that I have to really, really take the, you know, I got to take the hit for. But oh my gosh, like I can't imagine being a woman um, who has to find a guy to take that tab, you know, to find a guy that has to take that tab to say, you know, I got 2 kids, you know, I have loads of debt, you know what I mean? You know, my mortgage is entirely too much. You know, I'm working 2 jobs and now somehow I have to figure out how to get a man to help me when I've told people and told myself that I'm strong and independent and I don't need a man. You know, that's got to be that's like trying to hit a half court shot backward with your eyes closed after spinning around 17 times. Like it's pretty much impossible. And women have to figure that part out. And they have to figure that part out in a space where they totally ruin their reputation. And in the case of like our women and their reputation, it doesn't look like there's going to be any changes coming anytime soon because a lot of the defiance is not just like there's not going to be any reckoning or any saving, rather I should say, any saving anytime soon because with our women they think that you know they're defying us when in actuality they're defying all men, you know, on the internet, at their job, in public, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying, on TV and so on and so forth. And, you know, you had the young man, well, let me see here. It says lots of women are dealing with outcomes of their choices and are really hoping someone comes and relieves them. I see the outcomes every day. It's not pretty. Yeah, and that's like listening to you on Ed's show talk about the guys, the women who have the guys who are essentially homosexuals, you know what I'm saying? And that that kind of makes it for me that I mean, I believe your stories, you know, because I see them myself. You know, the guy is always, you know, more handsome than the girl is pretty. You know what I'm saying? He certainly doesn't have a job, doesn't have a car. He's trying to figure it out. He's out here hustling, trying to get it. You know what I mean? It's a very, very, you know, it's an obvious situation, and can't nobody can be comfortable in that space. You know what I mean? Uh, I have women making 50K in Section 8 vouchers with 5-year old, 900 a month, one bedroom. I laugh, but it's actually sad when you assess the whole situation, and it is. You know, it is. And the thing about men is that we always know if we don't work, we don't eat. If we don't work, we don't live. If we don't work, we can't survive. But we already knew that. You know, nothing that, there's no time where we're like, well, somebody's gonna come and help us. Somebody's gonna come and relieve us of this responsibility of taking care of ourselves. We don't call ourselves strong and independent, don't need no woman. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a strong, independent man. We don't talk like that. It's just unnecessary at this point. Like, why would we say something like that? It's ridiculous. But for our women who have told themselves that they're strong and independent and don't need no man, a lot of times, what I'm on is that I'll just let a woman be that. I'll just let you be that. Not gonna tell you anything different. Not gonna tell you that you need to be under the rule of the authority. That's the word I'm looking for. Haha. The authority of a man. No, you don't need to be under the authority of a man. You need to be, right where you are, doing exactly what you're doing. I never want a woman to do something or to be something that she was never designed to be, that she didn't want to be, or anything like that. You know, because then when you finally are, a wife, you're gonna resent me. You know, you're gonna resent me. You're gonna resent that you had to, do the thing like Ed was talking about, you know, um, relationships in this time. It's like, nah, I don't think that anybody should be trying to do new relationships in this time. I don't think anybody should be doing new relationships in this time. That's just ridiculous. You bugging if you're trying to get into a new relationship. You know, um, maybe, I don't even recommend rehashing, a relationship at this point, but certainly not a new relationship. New relationship, you bugging. You trying to, set yourself up for the failure, because as soon as, a woman would get back on her feet, what you think she gonna do? She gonna do what they do, and you're gonna be, on the wrong side of it. You're gonna be on the wrong side of it. And there's no need for us to, you know, no need for you to put yourself in that situation. And again, with all the calls that I'm getting lately, I'm very, I'm conscious of it. Again, I'm a taller dude. It wasn't like, I wasn't getting chicks, but it's just the kind of chicks that are calling, and the way that they're calling and what they're saying now. I mean, they sound very cooperative at the moment. They sound very cooperative. And it's it's not fun. It is sad, like Christian said, it is sad, but it is funny on some level. You know, I mean, the environment sort of humbles the women, which is why like women have to bend to the environment, which is why I would never tell a woman to just, you can do it by yourself. Like the guy, I think I did a video on it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Hold up. Let me go to the guy. He's this guy here. Hold up. My videos. See here.
I swear, man, I wish all these independent women.
See here. Stop share. This guy here. Yeah, this guy here. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the kind of guys that are the problem. You know what I mean? Like they're certainly the problem. Like this is a married guy, by the way. telling women that they should, not they should, but trying to convince women again that somehow they're independent in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Not in another, situation, in this shit. He's trying to convince women that they're independent and strong and don't need no man. And it's like it's nervy because it's like, do you understand that you're essentially taking women to a 50-story building and just saying jump? You can fly. You good. You can fly. Hold on. So, oh, you getting those kind of calls. I feel slow for just getting. Oh yeah, yeah, Jackie. Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm getting the offers. And not to say again, this is not saying that I wasn't getting women. I was still getting women, but it's the kind of women that are calling. It's the ones that got a couple kids, was married, were in, you know, stable situations that they got out of. Some women, this is crazy. Some women got divorced like right before the pandemic. Divorced before the pandemic, separated before the pandemic, whatever. And it's just like, okay, now it's real. Now it's getting real, and the same women who were just tough and don't need no man, and look, 60% of our women don't have anything saved for retirement, and then that's right before the pandemic hit, and what I saw on the ground was women cashing out their 401ks and things of that nature. Like, to me, it doesn't take a math genius or a person with a master's in economics to kind of figure out that our women are probably not going to be okay in this situation. you know Certainly if they're cashing out their 401ks, I guess mortgaging their futures. What's up, Sir Anthony? But yeah, a lot of the strong independent don't need no man BS. It's really not even the women that are really perpetuating it. It's a lot of times it's the men that are really pushing that, as a means to sort of, and this guy here, I hear at least that he's a comedian. He's a Baltimore. He clearly is from Baltimore if you've heard him speak. Um, he's clearly from Baltimore, but you know, he's a guy that again is just pandering, and he's telling these women that they're somehow strong, independent, and don't need no man, whilst being married. You know, it's like, you're married, sir. You shouldn't be telling women that. And also, too, do you think your wife believes all this nonsense? You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Let me see if I can play some of it. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
I swear, man, I wish all these independent women who are out making their own money and don't need no man, I wish they come out and say more stuff. Because apparently on all these goddamn podcasts and from all these high valued men, they saying y'all will never find a man and y'all are unhappy. Let me tell you something about independent women with their own money. They are out having a fucking blast. Fucking social media had you thinking it's rich women out here crying because they ain't got no kids. No, they on a boat. They out here shaking their ass, starting businesses right after a fucking Zoom call. They the rich aunt that come to the family gathering and they rile your kids up and then leave. That's probably the only thing I don't like about them. You just gonna get my child all hyped up and shit, give him some money, and then walk the fuck off and leave. You see them every day on your timeline. They just wake up on a Monday and post a video on the beach and shit. They have like a different sense of self, and they realize they don't have to live how you tell them to. And they don't need no fucking soulmate or a husband telling them what the fuck to do, because everybody around them serves their soul. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Get your money, man.
Yeah, it's like when I hear stuff like that, it's like I'm not even like in my head. I'm like, it's like, tell me when I'm lying. And that's one of those things, it's a black thing, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But like, I could tell you like 5 or 6, 8, 9 things in just a minute you were talking that you were lying about. One, they're not on boats. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're only on boats with each other, you know, with each other. And like, not for nothing, them being on boats with each other doesn't mean they're unhappy. I'm not walking around just saying these women is unhappy, but like, how many famous women gotta cry on TV before we believe them? How many times did Brittany Renner gotta cry on TV? Lolo Jones, You know what I'm saying? Freaking Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many times these women got to cry on TV? The number of women who are crying now, you know what I'm saying, about not being in a relationship and they're at 50, you know, not 50, but 40s and things. And like, it's like so many women that are crying their flipping eyes out because they don't have the thing that they're set up by design to want, you know, and they're on meds. You know, like again, like, you know, to me, it's obvious we need therapy. You know, certainly. I wouldn't say that we didn't, but like, we don't need therapy for you all. You know what I'm saying? You and look, also too, if you've seen the thumbnail, some of us need therapy because we have to, and not me, because my mom was wonderful, but I see when I see, you know, what the thumbnail is and you know what the background is, when you see situations like that where you have this son husbandry, no wonder these boys grow up and they need therapy. Because you have their moms trying to make them into the husbands that they didn't get, trying to make them into the men that they want, dressing them up like the men that left them. Like, of course, these little boys need therapy. At a certain point, we just got to be honest about what's going on, but we can't be, because if we are, then somehow that's bashing. And I just get tired. Like, I get tired of that. You know, like I said, when I go to therapy to make myself better for the people I love. I don't believe that women are going to therapy off of that. I think that women are literally going to therapy to make the people they love better for them. You know, they're not really taking. You can't even look at this. Hold up, let's see here. This bald guy is pandering. Anyone who knows these women in real life knows these women are on medication straight like that. Straight like that. They on medication like a mug. It's you know, it's crazy. Hold on, you got something beforehand. I said, I actually, it's the opposite. Social media will have you thinking that exactly. That's the thing. Like, social media is the highlight reel. It's the highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody look. I don't really frequent social media like that. Like, I'm not an Instagram guy or anything like that. But certainly, I'm not gonna put, you know, a picture on there with my shirt off and my abs is not abbing. My abs gonna be abbing when I take off my shirt. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do like 50 push-ups and 80 sit-ups, and then I'm gonna take the picture. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure they are as abbing as possible. But that's just me. And I mean, I would do that. You know, why wouldn't a woman use a filter? Why wouldn't a woman use the angles? Why wouldn't a woman, you know, run, you know, be in front of somebody else's car that wasn't theirs? Why wouldn't she take the highlight reels of her being on a boat? These women are not on boat. And look, he didn't say black women. Let's be clear. He didn't say black women. But I know what he's saying. We know what he's saying. He's saying that black women, no other group of women call themselves strong and independent, don't need no man. Only one group. There's no such thing as strong, independent Mexican woman don't need no man. That sounds awkward. it sounds it sounds very awkward. You know, there's no such thing as strong, independent Chinese woman don't need no man. I don't think they speak as that English. I don't think they speak as that English. You know what I'm saying? No other group calls themselves strong and independent, don't need no man, with the exception of our women. So as much as he didn't say black women, and look at this dude, look at his ring. He's wearing a ring. He's wearing a ring saying this nonsense. He's trying to talk y'all out of y'all position, you know? And it's crazy. It's like we're in the upside down because everybody's married more. Everybody, you know, has more wealth. You got women talking about generational wealth and they ain't even married. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Thumbnail scares you. Yeah, thumbnail is pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous as ridiculous goes. I can't even look at the thumbnail. Yeah, it's pretty bad. When I saw it, because her lip looks green, doesn't it? It looks green. It looks green like the emoji, like the emoji you use. Let's see here. They said they're never actually happy. The smiles are fake, and you can sense it. That's why they're hard to talk to. Happy women are likable and easy to talk to. Man, I told this story on the last show. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and I pretty much know that Christian can vouch because he said he met his wife in Midtown. I go to Midtown from time to time, probably like once a week. You know, I go to Midtown Detroit and I spark up conversation. And it's very easy because I'm talking to women who are essentially just just having a good time, and not like, they're not partying or anything, but they're just drinking tea and having a croissant or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a little coffee shop that I go down there, but it's like they're just having a good time. Nobody's hurting anybody. When I say hello, they say hello back. You know, when I say, what did you get there? They say, oh, I got this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll try that. And then there's a conversation. It's nothing deep. I'm not the master gamer or anything like that. I don't, just normal. But I should be able to spark up that same kind of conversation with women of my own race. But, again, I'm trying. I'm trying to make it real tough, especially with these calls. Because there ain't nothing but black with no white woman calling me like that. I wonder what I said. I wonder what I said. Jackie, tell me what I said. Did I say something funny? I might say it again because I only get funny moments every now and again. So help me out. But yeah, I like a lot of the Instagram stuff is really, really it's deceiving because it's only highlight reels. Like all the women that I went to high school with who got divorced, man, they showing off their man's they showing off their man's I perceive to be their man's titties. That's their man's titties, and them not Instagram's titties, them your man's titties. Put your man's titties away. They showing off their man's ass. That's your man's ass. That's not your ass. You don't get to show off your man's ass on this internet. That's not for the streets. You know, that's for the house. Your man's supposed to be smacking you on the butt whilst you cooking meals, and you supposed to be saying, "Stop it! Don't do that in front of the kids, girl." That's what's supposed to be happening. You supposed to be 12 years into that, not on the internet saying, I'm on a boat and I'm enjoying living my best life. No, you're not living your best life. You're not your best life is somewhere with your husband. That's what your best life is. And if you don't think so, you know what? I never want a woman to do anything that she doesn't want to do. But what dudes have to stop doing is engaging these women. Stop engaging these women. Because when we engage these women, what ends up happening is that we're having these conversations based on, yeah, but that's for real. Like I'm not gonna ever, like, what I'm saying, like I'm always good, I'm always ready, but I would do like 50 sit-ups. I would do 50 sit-ups before I ever took a picture of my shirt off on the internet. Are you crazy? You know what I'm saying? But I'm supposed to believe that I would do that, and they're not trying to give you the highlight reels. Like I'm not stupid. All these filters to make your skin lighter, all of these filters to make you look slimmer than what you are. You know what I'm saying? Cars that ain't yours, boats that ain't yours, rooms that 50 of y'all are in at the same time. Like I'm not confused. I'm not confused at all. I get it. A lot of times what we do is that we just allow for them to continue to perpetuate this lie, these things that we know better. Then hold on here. Yeah. So we have to stop engaging them. At a certain point, we have to say, okay, you're right, I'm wrong. You're right, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna argue with you. You're strong, you're independent. I'm gonna let you do that. Just stop engaging them. That's the part that's the new iteration of this conversation, or this, just to stop engaging. You know what I'm saying? And not even the new. I mean, it's old because I'm saying it, but again, a lot of the things that I'm realizing, you know, today is stuff that really guys knew 5 and 10 years ago. And I'm just now picking it up, which is like crazy because I'm just like, I really should have been on this a long time ago. And that's why you need these platforms. You need these platforms because the more that we can kind of compare notes, so that you don't think you're crazy, so that you don't say, it must be me, it must be me, and you don't think that your manhood is validated by if a woman likes you. You know, because I think a lot of guys, a lot of the blue pill, beta simps, I mean, you know, whatever you want to call them, they are under the impression that their manhood is validated by a woman liking them. And a lot of times, because they think that, it makes them, it allows for the women to kind of move the goalposts continually, like just keep moving the goalposts and moving the goalposts and moving the line further and further and further back so that you can keep doing stuff. It's not what you say, is the way you say it, and then you have to find this tone that is like perfect, you know. Yeah, it's not what you wear, it's how you wear it. You got to find this perfect outfit, you know, and all of those things are mechanisms to sort of move the goalposts and push the line further and further and further back. And we can't keep allowing for that to happen, because the more and more we allow that to happen, the more and more we'll find ourselves needing therapy. Because that's really what it is. If I would say that we need therapy because we need to get out of this idea that, you know, a woman liking you is validation. You know, it's really, I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's actually the other way around because of our position in their lives. You know, because the kind of men they want, like, be honest, the kind of men they want that are going to be the providers, protectors, and leaders for them, they have to validate. You know what I'm saying? They have to be validated to those guys. Like, those guys have to validate them, you know, or else it doesn't work out. And with all of this, you know, I'm strong, independent, whatever. Like, I also read, and I'm gonna try to put some of these articles and things in the description. You know what I'm saying? The good brother, what is his name? Orlando, forget his last name, but he does a lot of his work with JT, pocket watching with JT. And like, I knew all the people that bought houses during the pandemic. I mean, I don't, you know, obviously it was because, you know, the interest rates were very, very low. But, you know, when interest rates go low, that's how you get to hide, you know, the prices. You know, so you get a low interest rate, but then they can hide the prices in the interest rate, you know, being so low. And when those interest rates obviously go up, you know, then, you know, because you only benefit from variable rates if you don't even benefit from a low interest rate if you're buying a variable rate. And they're doing variable rates and they get their butts kicked, because when they go back up, you also suffer that end of it. And they overpay for houses. A lot of people pay, you know, 30% markups on houses, and paying that 30% markup on houses. I mean, obviously that's a it's a very, very tough, you know, pill, if you will, to swallow, that you made a life altering decision. And I see the evictions going up, obviously, but I see the foreclosures go. I mean, well, you know, I'm seeing the foreclosures in my phone, you know, because I have a bunch of, you know, I'm a part of a lot of email, you know, groups, whereas, you know, they look for houses around the city. And it's ridiculous how many houses are being foreclosed, you know, saying early in the game. Like, we're talking about with two years and some change into the pandemic, and you got a lot of people foreclosing, you know, early, you know, not even 2 years, you know, two, almost not even 3 years into a house, and you got people that are foreclosing. And really, 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 you know, because they brought out that stat too, that women are buying more houses than men. But like, if women are buying more houses than men, then the foreclosures are going to be more women than men, you know. And it's just more of a reason for us to kind of just buckle down on not engaging, because all you're going to do is pick up some debt. You're going to pick up some debt and a foreclosure and some other nonsense. You know what I mean? When they say tax auction will be lit, and yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh my God, it will. That's gonna be ridiculous. That's gonna be. You know what, Christian? I'm so glad that you exist. But this is the thing. These are the guys. These are the kind of guys that are in the space. These are the kind of guys that are in the space. You know what I mean? But yeah, this whole thing where we, you know, like, I'm not against those platforms that do engage women. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, those platforms are certainly needed, like uh table of eight, or eight at the table, or whatever. And calls it hate table, and the wrap up crew, you know what I mean? Those kind of things, because it actually just shows us how they're acting. And it doesn't, you know, obviously you can't make this stuff up. You know, obviously you can't make this stuff up. But the reality of it is that when you engage with a woman and she shows you who she is, you kind of gotta let her be who she is, as opposed to trying to, convince her that somehow she should be another way. The environment shift is what ultimately is going to be the environment shift is going to make them change. Just like, again, like, I'm sure, there's a lot of guys in this space that are getting those calls. You know what I'm saying? Most dudes have jobs, but you know what I'm saying? I know there's a lot of dudes who are in, IT, the engineers, you know what I'm saying? They're in finance, business owners and things of that nature. And I'm sure all of you all are getting those calls, as well. I'm sure I'm not the only one. And, and I think BGS too, I think it was probably BGS first, said it's just like musical chairs. You have a lot of people, who won't get a chair. And the older you get, it's cute. It's not the cute, one where it's 10 people and it's 9 chairs. No, it's going to be like 40 women in 3 chairs. It's going to be 40 people in 3 chairs, you know. And what we need to understand is that, we're always going to be okay as dudes. Just stay productive, for the most part. Um, stay productive, keep your health up. Certainly go to therapy, keep your mind right, you know, uh, you know, keep your fashion up if you can. You know what I mean? For some people, that's not really their thing, but keep your suit game up, and just stay tight, man. Because you know, all of this stuff, when it comes down to the come down, we'll be okay. At the end of it, So the therapy, or why we should go to therapy, is to keep our mind right. You know, not for a woman. I mean, enough of us have kids in the space, and we have a lot you know, to give to our kids and a lot to give to our families. So certainly, therapy would be good for that. But just going to therapy because some random chick on TikTok said it. I mean, I resent I resent that. I resent the idea that somehow I'm supposed to get therapy for you. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be my time, man. I appreciate everybody who showed up in the building. You know what I'm saying? Let me shout y'all out right quick. See here, of course, Christian, as always, man, great contributor to the space. Jackie Jack, of course, you know what I'm saying, always showing support. Really, really appreciate you, Jackie. You did a very good job on Bernard's show. I had to listen in the clouds because brother be working, brother got kids, brother got to make it work. You know what I'm saying? But certainly always a good contributor. Thanks to Sir Anthony. You know what I mean? And if any of you got any of the guys that showed up in the chat, if you are, in the Detroit area, please, please, check it out. You know what I'm saying? RSVP so we can know how many people are coming. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to see some of the bros out and about. See here. Hold on one sec.